like nerve-wracking, but at the same time, you kind of can't help but feel sad and happy because there's so many people here, like the law enforcement, the school, that are pushing the students to continue going on about their lives.
I'm sending my son back. As we're talking, I'm watching his friends walking behind that are going back. My daughter's not going back. That's not something that is easy to wake up to.
That was one of the students returning to Stoneman Douglas, as well as Fred Guttenberg, whose daughter Jamie died in the shooting. That return to school, emotional but an important step for all those kids.
Yeah, it's a really important step, and they had an opportunity the weekend before to come out and walk through the school with the parents, and Wednesday when they started it's really important, but it's really hard. It's hard obviously it's hard for Fred and for the other families who lost loved ones, and it's hard for these kids. I mean, remember, they really are survivors, and some of them saw some of the most horrific images. They're back in school, but it's a long process, and they're going to need the support of not just their teachers who also are struggling, but the whole community.
I've talked to police officers who were inside the 1200 building and say that they've never seen anything like that in many years of law enforcement. Yeah. And usually these are kind of cynical people, and they were moved in such a way. Can't imagine a student seeing some of the things they saw.
Yeah, look, and this, the fact is, when you talk to people who saw some of that, when the girl who came up to me after one of the vigils just grabbed my arm and said, after what I saw, which I won't even describe, Jim, but she described it for me. She said, you have to do something. There's a lot that we have to do to make schools safer, but my God, the damage that was done, the lives that were taken with this assault rifle, this semi-automatic assault rifle, that needs to be the central part of this conversation. That's how things will change.
We were talking a little bit during the break about one of the things that is these kids, the school, how the school prepared them. Their voices are so clear, the clarion call that they've had. But I also have to think that race plays a little bit of a factor. Like, I know it was noted that in the meeting with the president that you were in, there were no African American members of Congress there, and there probably should have been, because whose community has been decimated more by gun violence than cities like Chicago, Miami, New York?
Right. So those are two separate issues. First, at the school, I went to a lot of funerals and viewings and memorial services, and when I tell you the diversity of America at this big public high school was on display for everyone to see. It impacted everyone from whatever demographic mix they might be, wherever they came from. You saw that here in our community. To the bigger point of that White House meeting and the impact on communities around the country, yeah, look, there in cities, in major cities, there are a lot of places where the equivalent of a mass shooting happens over a weekend. It's just one shooting at a time, and you bet we have to take that seriously, and those are conversations that we have to have as well. But everyone is right now unified around taking action that can help save lives. Universal background checks will help here. They'll help in cities all across the country. Banning the automatic weapons and the semi-automatic weapons and high-capacity magazines will also help here and in cities around the country. This is a process we have to start moving on. There hasn't been anything that's happened in Washington, nothing. So we start taking action, it's going to lead to steps that can be taken to make communities safer everywhere.
There's some mayors locally who are thinking that they have to take it on themselves because they don't necessarily trust Tallahassee or Washington, and do it from the grassroots. Skip Campbell, the mayor of Coral Springs, is talking about trying to launch a constitutional amendment to ban assault weapons on the 2020 ballot. Do you have thoughts on that?
I do. I think it's a really important idea. I've been talking to people about that as well. We should ban assault weapons and we should ban high-capacity magazines. They serve no purpose in our communities. They're weapons of war. And people, the fallback position always is, well, you do this and you're starting to infringe on our Second Amendment rights. There are limitations on the Second Second Amendment already. You can't own machine guns or bazookas or tanks. So this kind of weapon is much closer to that than it is to the handguns and rifles that people used to defend themselves.
Marco Rubio said he was reconsidering the high-capacity magazines and hinted and suggested, and our reporting says that when the shooter changed magazines, that the gun jammed. Right. Is that your understanding as well?
Yeah, we've seen that. We've seen that in other mass shooting events around the country. That's the whole idea, that you can have one magazine that fires off 30 or 100 rounds at a time, is dangerous and wreaks havoc. We got to get rid of those also.
All right. Congressman Ted Deutch, I really appreciate your coming in and talking about
Thanks,
this.
Jim.
This is a conversation that needs to continue and will continue, and we hope to be part of that conversation.